All right. So, I absolutely love. Okay. Whew, I think I'm live. I feel like I'm like Tim. I'm not really sure what I think about the new live feature. So, I am going to attempt to make this bigger. Okay, there. I see my face. Oh, as I see a hanger. Hey, Liz. Hey, Lindy. How are you guys? Hello, hello, everybody. We will give it just a minute to get some people on live before we get started. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Liz is like a tagging fool over here. Hey, Amy, how are you? Did everybody have a good Friday, a good week? The whole lag thing cracks me up. All I know is I'm ready for a nap. I've had a week. So, well, thank you, everybody, for joining. Let's see. I think I've got my phone turned off. So we will go ahead and get started so you guys aren't just sitting here waiting for me just to get crazy. So my name is Tanya McCullough. I am a frontline consultant. I joined the company in October. Just a few days after I joined, my husband ended up in the hospital again. So that has been a great experience for me. In January, he was in the hospital January, February, March, practically 3 different times. So I have enjoyed learning about the Dipsy Dip business and getting started. And honestly, Tim kind of told you guys a little bit about my story. So I'll just tell you guys briefly, just a little bit about me. I had tried dipping before. I had friends who were nail consultants, nail techs, that had told me that I should try to dip because my schedule does not allow me to get to the salon very often. I own my own consulting business. I'm on the road a lot. When I'm not on the road, it's usually 11 o'clock or midnight before I'm ready to do my nails. So getting into a nail salon was not exactly very easy to do. So I had tried dipping on my own, and I absolutely hated it. Somebody said it's the liquids, so I tried another company. Still hated it. I would literally spend hours trying to file my nails, trying to make them smooth, that they would look thick and gloppy, and it was absolutely awful. I hated them. Somebody else said, oh, try this powder. So I tried another powder. Didn't like it. I have an entire case full of powders and liquids that I really just need to get rid of. So I had a friend who contacted me who said, hey, I think you should try this new company. And I was like, girl, been there, done that. Not going to happen. And she was like, no, seriously, I really think that you would enjoy the products. There's something about the liquids. There's something about the powders that I think that you would really, really, really like them. And I was like, I literally, like the first time she told me about it, I was like, no, girl, thanks. Thanks a lot. Not interested. And so a couple weeks later, she sent me another message and she was like, hey, seriously, I've been using these liquids now for a while, and I really think you need to try them. I really think just give it another shot. I think you'd really like them. And I was like, no. So she contacted me again. She's like, seriously, Tanya, just try it. So I was like, okay, I've wasted way more than $35 in the past on other random things. So why not? My hair's like going crazy. Why not just try it? I'll see what happens. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? I add it to my collection. So I went ahead and I placed the order. I did my nails at midnight. And in 30 minutes, I had a manicure that was finished. And I sent her a message. I remember it was like 12:30 in the morning. I sent her a message and I was like, girl, what voodoo magic did you just have me buy? Because I would have not tried these products if I really knew that they were that amazing. So that is how I got introduced to the product. I posted a picture the next morning that said, here's my midnight manicure. And I had people like commenting one after the other. And I had absolutely no desire to do another direct sales company. It was one of those things where I was like, been there, done that, not going to happen. And I had so many people that expressed interest in my manicure that I was like, well, shoot, I guess I just better go ahead and join, because if somebody's going to buy the product, might as well make a little cash off of them. So I signed up, and just within a couple of days, I had a couple people joined underneath me. And as of today, I really didn't start trying to like business build until probably February, just because we had so much going on with Kevin's health, my business, things like that. And we currently have 116 people on Team Dip It Out. So if I can work in doing manicures with my busy schedule, then anybody can work in manicures. So it was a little bit about my story as to how I ended up with Dipsy Dip. So if you are joining me, it is because you probably got one of these amazing, amazing little pink boxes in the mail this week. We had about 200 new consultant kits that have gone out in the past week. So if you are one of those 200 consultants, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining Dipsy Dip. It's a crazy time to join, but what an amazing experience. So you guys all probably got, unless you joined at the 99¢, you probably at least got a file. You probably got your 5 liquids. You should have gotten a Not Your Ordinary buffer, a kabuki brush. You should have gotten a solid powder, and you also should have gotten at least a glitter, unless you upgraded, or if, let's say, you downgraded. So here's my first pro tip. When you unpackage these bad boys, these little amazing hand-wrapped liquids, I want you to save at least one of these packages. And the reason why is because it provides a nice little grip, so that in the event that your base coat or your top coat gets glued shut, we've all done it. I'll be the first to admit, hold please. I just did it last week. So it happens all the time. You guys will laugh when you see it. So yeah, it's broken. So it happens, but this will provide you just a little bit more traction and allow you to be able to get a little bit of grip to open it up. So keep one of these. Don't throw them all away. At least keep one. The other suggestion that I have is that you also keep a rubber band, because the rubber band you can wrap around the top, and that's another thing that will give you just a little bit of torque to be able to get it open in the event that it gets stuck. So we're going to jump right in here. Usually when I do a live, it takes me about 35-40 minutes to get my manicure done. You guys are going to read my shirt apparently, and I was trying. I want to be able to see your comments, but I also want you guys to be able to see everything that I have here. So you'll see that I have 2 napkins. You will see that I have 2 cupcake liners. You will see that I'm going to be using Admiral and then Enchanted Dreams. So I've got my 5 liquids out here. I also have 2 different files, just because sometimes I like, if I have like a lump or bump, I will use a little bit stronger one. I have my kabuki brush. I like to use this amazing flower one that you normally can get on the website. It is sold out, but there will be more. I also have a cuticle pusher. So this, I'll show you guys a trick for getting like smoother lines around your cuticles. So we will jump in. I'm going to try to move these a little bit to the side so they're not necessarily, to at least know they're here. We'll move my top coat. We're going to move top coat here. We'll move brush silver over there. All right. So if you guys have, real quick before I go back down there, if you guys have any questions at all about dipping, please, 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 just drop them in the comments. I haven't seen anything. Oh, wait. Hey, I guess I have to, scroll. I thought they popped up. So very quickly, hey, Tanya. Hey, Kylie. Hey, Annie. Hey, Joy. Rachel. Hey, Amy. Lindy. Linda. I'm so glad you got it. It is super easy. Genre, it is amazing. Dolly, that's all right, girl. Your deck needs. So when would you use the brush saver? We'll talk about that one here in just a little bit. So, all right, we'll attempt to keep scrolling. All right, I'm gonna go back to my hands. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna be using Admiral, and I'm also going to be using Enchanted Dreams. So the one thing you want to do is you want to shake up your powders, because you don't want them clumpy. And I know I did this one, but I'll do it again, just in case. So shake it up. If you are concerned about it, you can always use your cuticle pusher, just kind of stir it up. You just want it so that it's nice and fluffy. Hey, Lori. Okay, I'm trying to get you guys so that you're not just looking at my boobs. Sorry. All right. So the reason... my phone goes off. Sorry. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So the reason that I use the cupcake liners is so that as I insert my finger into the powder, anytime anything overflows, then it will actually go down into the cupcake liner and I can just pour it back in there. So I just thought about something. I'm going to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. All right. Let's get this party started. So the first thing you do, you want to have bare nails, or you want to have got your tips. There's great videos that are out there about how to apply tips. Lindy just did one that you can watch in 2 minutes or less. So it's pretty quick. If you have super oily nails, or even if you have, you start having issues like with it not adhering or things like that, you can always use acetone or alcohol on your base nail to get started, but to kind of dry your nail bed out just a little bit. But you just want to apply nail primer to all of your nail, all 10 of them. You can kind of see it's going to kind of flash off pretty quickly. But this is just drying it out just a little bit. And what that does is it gives you a nice base so that the base coat and powder can adhere to it. Hey, Beverly. Hey, Penny. So you guys should have gotten instructions yep, they're down the bottom. Should have gotten instructions step by step on how to dip at home. They're in the bottom of your kit. If you joined with a 99-cent kit, then feel free to ask any of us how to dip. And the thing is that just remember, every single one of us was a beginner at some point, whether it was when we joined our Dipsy Dip company or when we dipped for the first time with somebody else. I have seen amazing first-time manicures. Nope, this is nail primer. I've seen amazing, and I've also seen ones where you need more practice. And guess what, you guys? I am 47 years old, and I cannot paint my fingernails. So the fact that I can dip my nails is a huge accomplishment for me. And when I first started dipping, my nails were short, they were thin, they peeled. It was no bueno. But with Dipsy Dip, I've actually had to cut my nails like every single time I dip because of the fact that they are growing like crazy. So after you have the primer on your fingernails, next step is step 2. It is your base coat. This is our liquid gold, you guys. I'm telling you, it is the best ever. Inside of here, there is a gasket. I'm not sure if you can see it, but when you get yours and you open it up, if you take a look down in there, there is a gasket in there. You want to take your brush and just kind of wipe off the excess on the inside so that you don't have a whole lot of product on your actual brush itself. This is going to help in the future, like when you go to close it, and help it so that it doesn't seal shut, because you won't have that product on the outside. My suggestion is, I can't either. I'm telling you guys, I couldn't. I smudged my nails. It was crazy. Paint like a 2-year-old could do a better job than I could. Rachel, even though we join with the 99¢, yes, you can join or you can purchase a dipping kit, a starter kit for a customer. They're $65, or the $85 kit. When we get more inventory in, we'll have a bigger kit as well. So you can buy those anytime as well. So I tell everybody, you're going to use very thin, light coats. The other thing that you want to try to do is you want to try to keep your brush parallel to your nail. This is going to help with bubbles. It's going to help with even coating, things like that. The other tip, pro tip number 2, is that you want to stay away from your cuticles. So if you think about like when you go to the salon, as I put this back in there, they kind of always, like pull your nail bed down a little bit. They don't go all the way to the back. That is what's going to keep your nails from lifting and popping off prematurely. So there's a couple tips that we'll do. So first things first, we're going to do 3. That's what I like to do. I start about 1/4 of an inch back from my cuticle. I'm not sure if you can see that. And I just go down my nail, and then I go down the side and down the other side. Okay? Easy peasy, just like that. Then next thing you're going to do, 45-degree angle, you're going to dip down into your powder and pull it right back out. And then just tap off. That's it. Super easy peasy. So you will see, it's kind of all at the back. I didn't quite go all the way back to my cuticle. As we do our next layer, we're going to kind of build up, and that's going to give you kind of that natural curve. And it's also, as you push into the powder, it's naturally going to push that base coat back into your cuticle so that you get a little bit of a more closer to your cuticle so that it's not stuck on your cuticle. Taylor, I believe, Taylor Scott did a great video about cuticle care, and I think it's in this group. So that's one I would definitely go and search out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to, hey, Cameron. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do nail number 2. Same thing, down the middle, down both sides, dip at a 45-degree angle, pop out. How come when you dip, you miss some spots or some are thicker? So Amy, the reason for that is base coat. Sometimes if you're being really thin, it might not completely cover the entire nail. The other thing is that if you get too much base coat, then the powder is going to absorb onto it. The other thing is too, and I'm going to do this again real quickly. So I just watched the powder drop to the bottom or to the top now. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have to shove your finger down into that powder. Our powder is thin enough and fine enough that it should go in at a smooth rate so that you're not pushing. If you're pushing down into it, you're putting powder and cramming it all into one particular area. So that could be part of the reason. I like to do an accent nail. So that's why I'm using this glitter. And sometimes I will use an accent that's glitter. Sometimes I will use a different color. Just kind of depends on what mood I'm in. So again, just kind of dip in, pull back out. There we go. I am only going to do the one accent nail for tonight. But let's see if you guys can see how, if you kind of just go in and pop back out. Now, making sure I see everybody's comments. If you want to, you could dip in a second time, and that would be okay as well, because you just want to, the powder is going to absorb into that base coat. So we will do our thumb. My thumbs, you guys, were the absolute worst. So the fact that I have to trim them, I'm so excited about that. I love it. You guys can use this video as a reference. If you have questions about dipping or something's just not coming out right, feel free to message me. Feel free to message your upline, whoever signed you into the company. There's a lot of us who've been dipping, and I'm telling you guys, We all mess up. We're not perfectionists, but that's the great thing is that at $2 or $3 a manicure, you can fix it. You don't have to worry about it. So that's the best part for me. And I am dominant right-handed. So everyone always talks about, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do my non-dominant hand. It's super simple. Look at that. The hardest part is applying the base coat, honestly. And here's a trick for that. Move your finger, not this one. So like hold this one still. And I was leaning. But if you have to, move your finger. Use it as your guide so that your non-dominant hand stays stationary. Just a little trick. Some of my nails are smoother. So Melinda, again, it's all about the direction in which you're going to go down into the powder. If you happened to end up with a lump or bump because you had more base coat on it. So I don't know if you guys can see this one. You can see that brighter blue spot. That's because I had more base coat in that particular area. So I'm going to attempt to do this. We'll see if it. So here you go. Not sure if you can see this or not, but where that more of the activator or more of the base coat was at, it's a little bit thicker in that particular area. So that might be something that you're coming up against that might be causing it. And you guys, I'm a messy dipper. I am a messy dipper. So it's going to be all over my hands. I always laugh about it. But yeah, even strokes for your base coat, that is really where it's at. Light coats, and you can come back and get it with the second dip. It'll cover it up. What color is this? This one is Admiral. The solid is Admiral, and the glitter is Enchanted Dreams. I really just tried to say Emerald. All right, again, you will notice it's not really close up on my nails, but you will notice that I'm not going all the way down to the cuticle, and it's totally okay. You also have like an invisible cuticle that when you're prepping your nails, you want to make sure that that little thin line is kind of pushed back as well. That will help adherence as well so that you don't go over it. If you guys are ready, once you start dipping and you are ready to go for nail art, oh my gosh, watch watch Amanda Mendoza. She has amazing nail art. Her and Kimmy both. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. I'm like super jealous of it. Okay. So you want to have enough time that your powder actually soaks in to the base coat. So before you start brushing off the excess. Again, we all make mistakes. And I did this just the other day that I didn't wait long enough. And I took my brush to it and I was like, whoops. It took off some of it. So never fear, we can fix it. So once it has adhered a little bit, you just go in and you brush off. I like to brush off over whichever color I was doing so that I kind of get all that extra powder back in that area so I can keep it. Wanted to make sure that I wasn't. Okay. Somebody's sending me a message. All right. So there's my first coat. You can see on this nail where I showed where it was a little bit thicker. You can see on that one where I got more base coat in a particular area. So it's a little bit different texture there. You can also see where I missed a spot. It's all right. We're going to fix it with the next coat. So this next part, the reason why I have 2 napkins is because if you're going to wipe off your brushes in between putting it back into your base coat, you don't want powder back into your base coat so that it doesn't contaminate it. At the same time, you don't want activator on your top coat because then that could potentially contaminate your brush, make it hard. It could make your top coat hard. So if you're going to wipe a brush off, make sure that you have two distinct areas that you're going to brush off on so that you're not accidentally contaminating when you don't think that you are. Okay. The other thing, if you just brush off really, really well, you probably won't have any transference of the pigment, but our colors are so highly pigmented that I'm always afraid that I'm going to end up getting powder color into my liquids. So that's what I do too. All right, so from your next coat, we talked about you were going to apply your brush at about 1/4 of an inch. This time you're going to go about 1/8 of an inch back closer to your cuticle. Okay, this time you can get a little bit closer to the side cuticle on both sides. And this time you're going to start seeing it build and be more consistent color. So let's do this one. All right. Again, I try to stick with 3 swipes. Okay. You can tell really no color on there, but just to be safe, I wiped it off and put it back in. Okay. You can definitely see it has better coverage if you compare the two. Lighter on this nail, darker on this one. Our colors are buildable. How will you know if you have contaminated one of the liquids? Girl, you're gonna know. It's gonna get thick. It'll be cloudy. It could possibly be stringy, depending on what it was contaminated with. That's usually how you'll know. Okay, so a little bit closer to the cuticle this time. You'll also on this one be able to see a little bit more if you have missed a spot with, I just stuck my hand in the base coat that I wiped off. All right. I do suggest that you guys get some kind of covering for whatever area you're going to be dipping in. And that way you don't have any like colors that are, I just really dipped the same finger back. I got discombobulated talking. One of the questions earlier also was how come you might have lumps or bumps. It also could be like if you insert your finger in, stop, and then push again, you're going to have a ridge where you've stopped and then gone back into the powder. So that could possibly be one of the reasons why you might end up with a little bit extra lump or bump. Hey, Amy. A lot of times too, like if I end up with a lot of base coat on my brush, I will do more than one nail with base coat at a time. So it just kind of depends on what I've got going on. I am really sticking my hand right in there where I have wiped it off. Not being very good. Some cheap coverings. You guys can use placemats. You can pick one up for $1 at the Dollar Tree. You can take a piece of paper. If you have a laminator, you can laminate that. I do that a lot. There's some on Amazon that also have like little wells that you can keep your liquids and stuff in. Those are pretty cool. There was a post the other day about those. But yeah, you will start to see on this next dip where you might have missed anything as you put that base coat over it. I use the dish mash that, yes. Yeah, I did have one girl today, we were talking about it. Penny's actually on here. We were talking about her brushes getting hard. anytime you guys, like when you go to care for your bottles, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But when you go to care for your bottles, if you accidentally get any alcohol near our liquids or inside the liquids, that could do it. If you're putting liquid or if you're putting alcohol on your nail and you don't wait long enough, that could contaminate them. If you're only doing one hand on a live, you don't have all 10 fingers that you're doing. So you're going back to this hand. And so it might not have had enough dry time or enough flash time. So that's another possibility. Melinda, I do wipe my brush just because I'm kind of anal about it. So I do. Amy, how do you get all the color off the back of your fingers? So funny story about that. When you brush it off, it's as long as you don't have base coat attached to it, it's going to come right off. And I'll show you that in a second. But if you look at my hands, they look kind of red. We went out to the cemetery for my mother-in-law this afternoon. And my sister-in-law, bless her soul, she had put a red like cardstock card into the urn that's out there. And it had gotten wet. And so I went to dump it over and I ended up with red water all over my hands. So it dyed my hands. So I was like panicking, going, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go live and show you guys with these red hands. But I was able to wash the majority of it off. One of the reasons why you want to try to keep your brush as flat as possible is because that's also going to help as far as like with any voids that might occur. So that will help with the sticking and adhering. So just if you're having a lot of times where it's popping off, that could be one of it. If it's chipping at the tip, that could be one thing. The other reason why it could be chipping at the tip is because you're not capping with top coat. That's the other thing too, is that depending on how long your nails are, if you're a short nail girl like me, even though I am extremely happy with how long my nails are, it's not as easy to apply base coat and powder to the tips of them. Whereas if you have longer nails or if you're putting tips on, you have the ability to run base coat across the tip, and then also that will put powder at the end of it so that you have colored the tip so that it's not a white base. So I don't have that luxury because I don't have that thick of nails. But if you do have longer and you want to, I'll show you in a second, and you want to have color on the tips so that when somebody looks at your nails, they don't see that white tip, then you would definitely want to take your brush, go along the edge of it, and then dip, and then you'll get coverage there. So I kind of did intentionally, Amy, decide to use a dark color just so you guys could see how easy it does come off. And it is totally up to you how many coats you do. You can do 2, you can do 3. Heck, if you want to do 4 because you want really thick nails, or you want the you want to use clear on the bottom because you're putting tips on and you don't want to have to take your tips off all the time. A tip for that is to dip in clear first and then go back and dip with your color. That way you don't have to necessarily take off your tips all the time. So you can actually then just file down to the clear and then dip on top of that. So you salvage your tips. All right. So Amy's question is how do I get all of this blue off the backs of my fingers? So great thing is the fact that yes, it is pigmented, but I don't have any base coat to it. So as I kind of brush it off, it's going to come off some. So you can see this one has definitely already come off. And then because there's no base coat to it, as soon as I wash my hands, it's definitely going to come off. So if you ever watch me dip live, you'll see me getting it like that. So, all right. And again, ooh, that went rogue. I brush over whatever color I have dipped in. So you can see it's not around my cuticles anymore. So this will go away as soon as I wash it. All right, so let's say you do want to do a third coat. Brush some more of that off. Hey, Sabrina. All right, so let's say you do want to do a third coat. This time you can get a little bit closer to your cuticle. The other thing is too, is that if you get a bead, let's see if I can do this. If you get a bead, if you can see that, a product on there. When you put it down on your cuticle or close to your cuticle, and I'm gonna do a third one really, really quickly. But if you lay it down, and so that the brush kind of sprays out and then push back into your cuticle and then pull it forward. That is also going to help with that natural curve that you like to get when you go to the salon. Nobody likes flat nails. You want to see that C. So that's one other trick, as so that it actually kind of narrows down a little bit into your cuticle. All right, I'm gonna do these really quickly, you guys, so that you don't have to sit and watch. But I am pushing it back to my cuticle first. So the colorful brush, I mean, it's the same concept, Christy. It's just, so I'll show you. So this one is, if you kind of look at it, it's kind of dimensional, a little fluffier. So it's going to take off more of your, get more down into the crevices. This is the little gold brush kabuki. So it will help, same thing. So they both are fun. They both work. Totally up to you which one you use. I don't have it sitting here. I have an old kabuki makeup brush that I was using when I first started dipping. So I'm going to do these really fast. Pushing back, pulling forward. So, okay, so Beth, to get the curve, oh, wrong color. There's a couple ways you can do it. There is a really nice video about building your apex if you are doing tips. If you're not doing tips, the way to do it is that on that, watch, I'm going to end up with blue on my nose. So you end up with a little bead of liquid, go back to your cuticle, lay your brush down, and then push in towards your cuticle and then pull it back out. So what it does is it's pushing that liquid down into it and then coming back off. I have the glitter come off on the brush. Is that normal? So the reason why the glitter is coming off on the brush is because it hasn't hardened up and adhered before you're taking the kabuki brush to it. So think about, whoa, that's still got some blue on it. Think about wet paint. If you put your finger in it and you move it, it's gonna slide out. You're gonna make a mess. So what we're doing here is we're applying glue and a powder to make a polish or to make a paint, basically. So this is still wet until it starts really adhering and almost absorbing in to kind of create one. So you have like one formula. I'm trying how to best to say this. Almost like it's not necessarily a paste, but until those two combine, you've got base coat and powder. So if you try to attach it, it's still wet, it's gonna wipe right off. So that's why you wanna give it some time. Here's another example. If you can kind of see the fact that that is still kind of shiny, if I were to hit that with my kabuki brush right now, I would take that color off. And I did that the other day. So as far as if you have tips and you're gonna build the apex, I wanna say it was Eva who did the video. And if it's not, I will go back and I will correct myself. But she had Googled how to build an apex. And once you do tips on there, and she did an amazing demonstration video. That shows how you put clear on it and build it down so that it has that really nice C curve on a nail with a tip on it. Like I said, I usually will do 2 dips, and here's the reason why. I like to change my colors, and I don't like to soak. So I want it to come off as fast as possible. So that's why I do 2 dips. But 3 dips is definitely probably the most common layers that people do. It gives you a lot of strength. They will last. There's a nice bond there. So 3 is usually pretty normal. If you're going to do anything more than 3, then girl, we need to talk about how much activator you use, because you want to make sure that you get all the way down. So that is, and I've noticed that on my glitter, I wasn't all the way. It's not all the way down on my nails. But guess what? I'm the only one who's going to be that close to my nails, except for the fact that I do need to take a picture for Amanda's boot camp. So yeah, so I hope that you guys all have been able to jump onto a new consultant call. I believe Kelly did this week's. Lindy did the week before. Lindy runs those. So if you are a new consultant, make sure that you jump onto a new consultant call. They are Wednesday nights at 7:30 Central Standard Time. In that call, they go over just about everything you could possibly want to know from a new consultant standpoint, like what's in your back office, how to look at things, how to create a coupon code, what groups to join. So it's a great 45 minutes to an hour that I would really encourage each of you to jump onto that call. Kenny is doing Build Your Business calls. She has actually asked me to help with this coming week. So I will be next Thursday's Build Your Business call. Those are on Thursday nights. So I encourage you to jump on them. I encourage you to be in the Telegram group because that is super fun. Everybody it's a free for all. I actually have to have it muted just because y'all go crazy in there. But it's a great place that if you can't get an immediate answer from your sponsor, your upline, it's something that you can go there. All right, so let me answer a couple questions. Okay, so you wipe your base coat brush off between layers. I personally do, because I don't want the powder to be back in there. So I do. That's why I say use 2 napkins, because once we have base coat on one, we don't want to take our activator and go on top of it with like our top coat brush. So you want to use 2. So here is, somebody was asking when you would use brush saver. Okay. If you look, I wiped a lot of it off, but you watch that I brushed it off, and this is the brush saver. Okay. Pop that little guy open and drop your old brush down into the brush saver. You can give it a swirl if you want to, or you can let it sit there. You can trade out your brushes and just drop this one in here and let that one go until the next time you use it, or until you want to do it with your top coat. It's totally up to you. But before you put your brush back into whatever liquid it came out of, I want you to make sure you wipe it off. Okay? Doesn't matter what you're doing. Just make sure that you're not cross-contaminating. Tasha, where's that video on building an apex? It is under units. So that's where that one's at. All right. So we are going to go in here, wipe all this off. The nice thing about it is that if you guys are heavy-handed with your base coat, the next trick, pro tip I'm going to give you is going to help you with that. But never fear if you end up with, we're going to try to clean some more of this off so you guys don't have to look at blue. If you end up, like when I was first starting, it was super hard because my nails were so short. I had top coat that was between like my natural nail and my skin. and it would like adhere shut. It was like, it was super glue. So the next day after you wash your hands, you can just kind of pop that and break it away. So don't worry if you're heavy-handed. I also have been known that if I don't get a really good clean edge, then I will actually file the top off, file down what I need to do, activate again, and then do top coat. So that's another one. Melinda, how often should one change colors on natural nail without causing damage? So everybody's nails and health are completely different. I change mine about once a week. I also, usually the damage is when you like leave your nails in acetone for a really long time and it dries them out. Or you are picking at them because they've lifted or they've chipped or done something like that. As long as you are applying cuticle oil, you're not using like 100% acetone and just letting your hands soak for 45 minutes to an hour. Use the fast method. I love that way with the hot bowl of water, a Ziploc baggie full of acetone, let it warm up, get that water as hot as you possibly can. And I can get my nails off in 5 minutes on each hand. So file the top coat off, drop your hand down into that warm acetone, and it will just start kind of gumming up, and you just wipe it off across a napkin and it comes right off. So did that yesterday. All right, I think I'm caught up on all this. I did see Heidi said, thank God her fingernails have finally started growing. I'm telling you guys, like I've never had long nails. I was so excited the other day. I was like, look how long they are. So, all right, we're done with the powder. So before I do this, I'm gonna show you. This is the reason why I told y'all I am a messy dipper. This is the reason why I use cupcake liners, because bam, just like that, I have saved all of my powder. So you just drop it right back in there, toss that away. Super cheap. You can get like 100 of these at the Dollar Tree. So save that, and the fact that if you happen to knock it over, not that I've ever done that before. Yeah, that's happened. You can pour it right back in. So something really nice. See, I just did it myself. I cross-threaded it and then I messed up. Brush saver primarily for base and top coat brushes. I mean, you can use it on your activator if you needed to. But yeah, mainly it's because your base coat and your top coat are literally like super glue. And so you want to have the ability to clean those. Yes. Okay, so when you're done with these, we will get rid of them. Going over here. All right, pro tip number 3, 4. Before you do activator, I want you guys to take a cuticle pusher. It can be, and we're going to get rid of this one because we're done with that one. It can be an orange stick. If you have, well, that just went underneath my desk, so I won't be showing you that one. That was one of those rubber tipped cuticle pushers. You can use that as well. But basically what I want you to do is to take any of the ends, there's different sizes, and just go around the cuticle. And I will try to show you guys up close too. And just kind of push it around and clean up that cuticle line. The other thing you're doing is you're breaking a bond between your skin and any base coat. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this up closer to the camera. So see if you can, so just kind of go down and around it, pull your nail out just like you would if you were at the salon. Don't get crazy with it. And then just kind of take it around the edge of the cuticle. Because again, if you guys are getting lifting at the back or you're getting your hair caught underneath it, it's because there's a ridge and so it's lifting. That is bad as well, because then you can get water up underneath there. You can end up with a what's called a greenie if you're getting moisture up in there. So super important that we want to try to stay away from our cuticles when we're applying that base coat, as well as you want to try to clean it up a little bit before you go to activator. And I mean, it's not the end of the world if you do, if it's over on your skin or things like that. I used to say with my daughter's dog, where she sits, she fits. Um, and it's kind of the same thing with base coat and powder, is that wherever you get it, where it fits, it sits. It's going to stay, but you can get it off. So yes, the fast soak, Heidi, is amazing. So, so amazing. Super fast. A greenie. Yes, a greenie. Nobody wants a greenie. Nobody wants a green nail. And you guys will know your nails as well. You'll know them better than anyone else. So you will know like where you think, like I know like right here, it's up on my actual finger, but it's not in my cuticle. So you will get a hang of what you think. The other thing that you'll notice too is that if you've gotten too close to your cuticles, you'll end up with thick nails around that area. So there are definitely some videos up in the units about the removals. There's removals with acetone in the clips. There's removal tips about dipping in acetone, the baggy method. I'm super interested in the rice. I need to definitely watch that one. So I've heard you guys talking about it. Okay. A friend of mine is asking me what plans I have for Mother's Day. I'm quarantined. Nothing. Nothing. I don't know. My kids might come over. We'll see. All right. I look like Cookie Monster on the bottom. Makes me think of the doggy breath. Yes. Okay. Pro tip number 4, if we're keeping track. Is Tim on here? Hey, Tim. Okay. I personally like to have 2 activators. Totally up to you. The other thing you can do, the reason why I have 2 is if you look at this one in comparison to this one, you can see that this one has a discolorization to it. It's because I use reds and pinks. So they're so highly pigmented that it will transfer over. If you don't want to use that, if you don't want to do 2, I would suggest, Kenny actually does, well, she has 3. She has 1 for glitter. Hey, 1 for glitter, 1 for dark colors, and 1 for light. Personal preference, you guys. Totally personal preference. There's also Kelly and Lori have both talked about this. There's little pipettes that will actually suction up just a little bit of the activator, and then you drop it onto your nail, and then it will go. That way you don't cross-contaminate. That's an amazing idea. You can buy those in the back office off Amazon. There is a link in the back office. So if you guys are going to buy anything nail related, check out the back office, because Tim has set up links so we don't have to house that inventory and we don't have to source them. We can actually go to Amazon, use those links, and just a little bit comes back to us. So we don't have to house the inventory. We don't have to worry about different SKUs, and just a little bit of that money comes back into the company so that they can reinvest it in us. So other thing. All right. Next step is step 3, activator. Okay. You can't use too much activator. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you are somebody who dips 3, 4, 5 layers, this is the way I describe it. Think back to an old charcoal grill when you would use the bricks and you would put lighter fluid on it. You would watch that brick change colors as it absorbs that lighter fluid into it. That's what we want to do with our activator. We want to put enough activator on here that it is going to penetrate all these layers, smush it into one so that we have one layer. So if you don't get all the way through, it's not going to dry fast. It's not going to stay hard. It's going to chip off. You're going to have voids. So I tell everybody, use as much activator as you want to. So I'm going to show you this way. Hopefully the light. Hey, Tiff, how are you? All right, so hopefully we can see this way. Watch when I put this on here. I'm going to go. See how it changed colors? I want to douse that baby. I want as much activator on there. Okay, now granted, I'm not going to, let's just do this. See how you can tell the two difference? Okay, you can also see how the pigment came off. So I'm gonna wipe my activator brush as well. Okay, look, you can kind of see, let's see if I can, you can kind of see how, if we're thinking about the analogy of briquettes from an old barbecue, see how that color is starting to go back to the same color as this. That means that it has absorbed and it's flashing off. That's what we want, okay? So, see that blue brush? That's the reason why I say some people will actually want two colors. So that, because if you have a darker color and you go to put it, and you've got blue or pink or something like that on there, it will actually transfer over a little bit. So use your discretion, what you want, what you feel comfortable with. Somebody did ask the question earlier about brush saver. Duh, yes, if I've got a tint to it, this is the perfect time to use brush saver on my activator brush. Again, just make sure you're wiping it off before you drop it in there. Okay, so if you read the back of the bottle on activator, it says, after dipping nails, apply a thin layer of activator, wait 3 minutes, buff and shape nails, then apply a second coat of activator. Y'all will wait the 3 minutes. Make sure you have, and I will go back, I will add activator a second time. I will sit there, I will chit chat with somebody who's on my live page during this part, because I want to make sure that my nails are nice and hard before I move on to the next step. Because if you don't wait, pro tip number 5, if you don't wait, this was the question earlier as to her brush, when she would swipe too soon, it will actually take it off. So if you go and you start trying to take your file to it and it's not hard yet, you're going to go right into that powder and you're going to shift it and you're going to move it. Just a fact of life. So one of the things that Lindy talks about is listening for if it's hardened up. So this one was one of the last ones we did. See, kind of hear it? It's not really all that hard yet. You are wanting to wait to start doing it until you can tell that it's hardened up. So we'll tap test. That's my whole aerospace background. Sorry, tap test. So make sure that you have definitely waited the full 30 minutes with your activator, because that's the last thing you want, is that you get to that point and then you have to like go back, file it down, dip again, do your base coat. We're all about speed at this point, right? Okay. So once we get to this point, you can kind of hear it. Once you get to this point, next thing that I typically do to buy into, once I file, sometimes I get a black mark. Why? A couple reasons. I guess my question, Christy, would be, is that, does that black mark go away once you apply your next round of activator? That would be my first question. It could possibly be because you're being a little heavy-handed in there. I'm not really sure. Is it a light color that it's happening on, or a dark color? Tell me more about that. So the other thing that I do to buy some time is that I will actually start kind of trying to file down and break away around my nails. Oh, perfect. Oh, yes, Annie, I should have said this. Okay, here's the other thing. Glitter. Guys, I'm sorry. Glitter. Our glitter is so sparkly. You don't want to get rid of that sparkle. I will sometimes file it down if I need to, but I try not to. So you can actually push down. Tiff does not file her glitters at all. You can, did I say something? 3 minutes. Yeah, wait 3 minutes. If I said 3 hours or 3 seconds, so sorry. Wait 3 minutes. If you have a lump or a bump, before you apply that activator, I didn't have any, so I didn't tell you guys this, you can actually push down on it and kind of mold it a little bit and smooth it out. If you were to look at my nails right now, I really don't have, they're pretty smooth. So I'm really not going to have to do a whole lot of filing on them, but I will just to kind of show you guys, because there's a couple spots that, like the one where I intentionally made it a little bit dark, made it a little bit different. Christy, if it's darker, I would say that we would have to look at the color that you're using, the file that you're using, and if it's like in one particular spot or if it's like on all of them, and we could maybe dig a little bit into it. So, Heidi, you're welcome. Okay, so the worst thing you can do on a manicure is to have thick, chunky looking edges. I am one that I will go along the back of my nail and kind of file it down as well. This was one of the things that I was talking to my girls that were nail salon girls that were messaging me and saying, oh my gosh, my nails are so long. What do I do? How do I get over it? I don't want to take them off. I don't want to lose my length until you guys' products come back in. If you file around the back of it, it's going to smooth it. That's also going to help with that C curve that we want. It's going to just kind of file it down and just give it a natural little curve down. So I will take some of this time while I'm waiting for that 3 minutes to go in, break it away from my skin just one more time, and kind of go around my cuticles just to clean them up. And you guys, I'm talking a lot, so yeah, it's taking me longer than 30 minutes, so I'm sorry. But yeah, this set looks really, really smooth. And I'll take a picture when I'm finished too. The other thing is try not to attack your cuticles, you guys, because then it's going to hurt when you go to soak them off. It's not going to be as pretty of a manicure. So I know sometimes, a lot of times when I see that cuticles have been, like they're looking pretty rough, I know it's because they were thicker, which means that they used thicker base coat. They didn't use the thinner layer, so they ended up with thicker powder, which meant that they ended up with lumps, clumps. They had to file it out. So that is usually one of the times, and when they got too close to the cuticle. So that's usually one time that I will see that cuticles get attacked. When cuticles attack, I'm kidding. So yeah, so I'm just kind of buying some time at this point, just trying to, because I don't want all my hard work of dipping to go away at this point. So that's the last thing you want to do. Okay. Oh, cramp. So there's where we're at. Okay. Hey, Sarah. When do you use the buffer? I use the buffer after I'm done filing. So that's the next part, is that I'm going to show you. So blue nail, when you guys go in and you file, you might get white. Y'all, it's going to be okay. Because all it is it's just that powder that we're filing away, just like regular powder when you do anything else. As soon as I apply activator to that, it's going to, let me try to turn my thumb around. It's going to come back. So I usually, if you are really concerned about it, go over them, file out any lumps or bumps. If you don't have lumps or bumps, then great. You get a pass. Take $200, go past jail or whatever it is. Go past go when you're playing Monopoly. And you get to move on to the next step. But I just like to make sure I go over it one time just to make sure it's really nice and smooth, because I want the best looking nails I possibly can. Because guess what? Your nails are your marketing tool. Every time you take a picture of your wine glass or of your kids, somebody's going to see your nails. So I want them to be as pretty as possible. Now, sometimes I do file my glitters, sometimes I don't. If you want to keep all of that sparkly goodness in our glitters, because they are so amazing, don't file your glitter, okay? Yeah, you guys, I'm telling you, if it weren't for these liquids, I would not be dipping. I would not be on this this live with you guys, because I would still be sitting here with really bare nails because I couldn't. I didn't have hours to spend filing my nails out. But if you do thin layers of base coat, you're not going to have to file that much. Okay, so earlier intentionally I showed you guys where I put extra, see how thin my nails are, where I put extra powder on there just to kind of demonstrate as to why you might have a lump or bump. Okay, all you do, just smooth it out. It'll be all right. Okay, I'm assuming Lindy jumped on because I say somebody who says hi, Lindy. Okay, that was how easy it was to do that. And of course, where did my buffer go? Oh, I didn't pull it out. Sorry. Okay, so now here's where you'll do your buffer. Just go in really quickly and buff it out. If you don't have a lot of lumps or bumps, you can actually just do your buffer. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, it is so easy to file ours out. There's no nastiness. There's no lots of lumps and bumps. This is what has sold me on this company was our liquids. I'm telling you guys. It makes the whole manicure process so much smoother. I love it. I have girls that, actually a friend of mine, she used my products over the weekend. I went and dropped them off to her. I know. She's a really good friend of mine. Her husband's a doctor. And she was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how big of a difference it makes. True story. Huge difference. All right. I personally go ahead and brush off some a little excess. And then we're going to go back with activator again. So the reason why you're going to do activator again is because you just broke into, you just filed into that bond that you created with your base coat and your powder. So this activator, just in case anything got knocked loose, is going to harden it back up again. The other thing is that our activator works in conjunction with our top coat to make your nails or your top coat dry quickly. Now, the other thing is that I think in the instructions it might tell you at this point to have wiped off with an alcohol pad. If you do that, remember to wait long enough so that it has flashed off. Because if you get alcohol back into that top coat when you go to use your top coat, you're going to contaminate your liquids. So be very careful about that part. Make sure that it has flashed off enough. The other thing that I want to point out, okay, let's look at this finger in comparison. See how it has like kind of that white coat to it? As soon as I put activator back on it, guess what's back? Shady's back. Guess who's back? Just kidding. You guys don't want to listen to me sing. Hey, Kara. All right, we are almost done, you guys. Okay. So if you kind of do the comparison between the colors, you can see that this one still has fresh activator on it versus this one has started flashing off. I usually say do all of your nails and then come back, because you don't want to get too much activator be left on there, and then to put your top coat on it and to possibly contaminate. So you want it to flash off. Okay, don't look at my janky bottle. I waited. I need to place another order. So this is the bottle that I did not pay attention to Kenny's bottle care video, and I got a little impatient and I broke it. Shh. Melinda, this has been one of the best lives. All right. Well, I'm glad I was able to help you guys. On top coat, thin coats. I know you want to think, I want glossy, I want super thick. Thin is your friend. The other thing is you want to make sure to cap the edges so that, again, you don't break, you don't have a void. You're not going to have the potential to get water up underneath there. So you'll see that this is what I do. I go, for the first one, I go down the middle, down my sides, and then I take it and I just touch the tip. Bam. First one done. Okay, if you're concerned about possible transfer, obviously, we're going to take our paper towel, flip it over so that you don't touch the activator, because I don't want activator in my top coat. And again, going on to my next nail and across the top. Hopefully, guys, that's not in the way. The next part is where all my friends are like always amazed. They're like, oh my gosh, how long is it going to take to dry? I'm like, psh, by the time I hang up and I answer your private message, it's going to be dry. That's the great thing. In the event that you didn't use activator or your top coat isn't drying, you can always go back and put another layer of activator on and then do top coat across it on top of it. That'll help it dry. So there we go. Oh, my hands. Let's see if I can get close enough so you guys can see the shininess. It's like backwards. So, you know, I rotate my hand one way. All right, next hand. Okay, talking about that non-dominant hand. If you need to, use your hand as your guide and just let your non-dominant hand be the one that just holds the brush. And again, make sure you cap your tips. This set of top coat here, I usually can do a couple nails because we're going for the fact that thin is in, right? Sorry, don't want to hold you guys up. Let's try to do it fast. Okay, so I'm going to show you dull activator. Melinda, I will show you, because my thumbs are really, oh, okay, across the tip. Okay, here's what I do. Very quickly, I will take my cuticle pusher and I will just go along really quickly and make sure that it's not connected. Just like that. So that in between, if you read the back of the bottle, it says, 2 very thin layers of top coat allowing 30 seconds of dry time between coats. So this is where us short nail girls will just run that cuticle pusher up underneath there really quickly just to make sure that we break it away. That is probably people's biggest complaint, is that they end up with top coat right there at the tip and it drives them crazy. Okay. All right, we're over our 30 seconds there, so we're going to go back for top coat layer number 2. Again, thin is in. Trying to make sure I'm catching all the comments. This is probably, if you get thick base coat or you don't use enough activator, it may take a minute for your nails to dry. And if that is occurring, that's the reason why I like to try to do a couple nails with the same swipe in, so that I don't have to worry about that. Okay, just like that. An hour and 14 minutes. The first 10 minutes we're talking, telling my story, waiting to get started, and then a whole bunch of talking in between. So if I wasn't talking, if I wasn't trying to answer questions, I would have been done 20 minutes ago. All right, next step, always make sure you are applying cuticle oil of some sort to your nail beds. You want to have healthy nails, healthy nail beds. Here's another pro tip, number 6. If you are a short nail bed girl, if you want your nails to grow, apply a cuticle oil or a coconut oil or some kind of cuticle cream to your nails every day, twice a day. A couple of reasons for that. It's going to help with blood flow into your nails, and that's going to encourage nail health so that your nails will actually grow. And then it also is going to keep your nails healthy. So in about 90 seconds, I will be completely dry. There you go. That is how you dip for beginners. So welcome again to all of the 200 consultants who just got their new consultant kits. Hopefully, I know it was a little bit long, but hopefully I provided you guys with just a few little tips or tricks to help get your nails looking bomb. Salon quality nails at do-it-yourself prices. You can also kind of see that, like when I go and wash my hands, that blue's gonna be gone. It's starting to wear off. I am always around to help answer anybody's questions. Let me tell you, if you could do it, I probably have done it. If I haven't done it, I will ask around, because we have got some amazing, talented consultants that have done the research, that they know what they're talking about. We have a great team of leaders that are here to help you guys be successful in your business. That is what we want you guys to do. We want you guys to have amazing nails, love our product, fall in love with our product, and show it off. That is really what is going to get somebody to want to invest in your business. You will hear me repeat over and over again, people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And by you doing your nails, you falling in love with your nails, you not being salesy or pushy about it, but you just showing them how easy it was to do your nails, you're gonna get people's attention. So new consultant calls on Wednesdays, make sure you jump on at least one of those. Build your business calls on Thursdays. Get to know you Zoom. We do those we kind of float on Fridays. Get to know your team, you guys. Get to know your sideline. Get to know people that aren't even in your upline. Like, I don't care. I will help you. I want you to be successful. I know that that's the same way that Lindy, Kelly, Lori, Amanda, Amy, Heidi, like, I could go on and on and on, you guys, about the amazing consultants that are willing to help out in this group. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whose team you are on. We all want to help you and have you be successful. Shelly says, I can't wait to get my stuff. I do use other dips, but I can't wait to see how much easier. I'm telling you, Shelly, you will be amazed. I actually busted out some old dip powders from some other companies and sent them to Amanda. I said, here, try these. I just want you to see them. She's like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Like, the glitters, our glitters in comparison to other glitters are much finer, brighter, shinier. Our powders are finer, thinner, easier to use. The liquids, by far, I'm telling you guys, our liquids are what set us apart. Granted, yes, the dip powder is finer, so it's easier to apply, but I'm telling you, the liquids are our magic gold. I'm telling you, the fact that you don't have lumpy, gunky, thick nails that you have to file for hours on, the fact that your glitters are like that smooth, like you don't have chunkiness in them, that is amazing. And Penny's right, the culture of the company. I have been in direct sales for 10 years, 12 years. I'm trying to think back how long it's been. I've never had a set of owners who were as invested, as open and transparent as Tim and Tiffany are. I mean, they're just absolutely amazing. I know Might have a shortage of powders right now, but you guys, the orders are rolling in and they are here to support us. They are invested in this. They want us to be successful just as much as you want to be successful. And yeah, Annie's right. Nine free is an amazing, amazing marketing point. The fact that they're good for your skin, good for your nails, and they don't have all the icky stuff that's going to dry them out. They're not going to be banned. That is amazing. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Feel free, send me a friend request if you want to. I'm here to help you guys. If you have any questions, again, ask your sponsor, ask your upline, ask me, ask your sideline, ask a friend, ask in Telegram. We are here to help you be successful. So with that, I will watch the comments to see if there are any more comments that come through. But there we go. There is Dipping 101. So when you guys get your first kit, or when you get your kit and you do your first manicure, drop me a picture. Let me know that you guys have done it. That's the best thing you guys can do for your business, is to get the product on yourself. So I'm gonna go wash my hands and get rid of my blue Cookie Monster look. But it was fun chatting with you guys, and I hope that I helped just a little bit. So talk to you guys all later. Bye.